Hey folks, it's Sam. I'm live here doing the full moon in Taurus video. It's happening here on in the next day or so on December 14th at night or early in the morning on the 15th, depending on where you are. It's the full moon in Taurus and it's in Mrigashira Nakshatra. So we're going to be talking about that. You can see it's up here. The full moon has also joined Jupiter in the sky. I want to, hurry up and make a quick video here before I got lost in this weekend. I'm doing all kinds of updates now. I'm doing 2025 Vedic astrology reading forecasts, these special assessments that you can get, and different things like that. So before I got too into that and sort of went down the memory hole of that, I thought I would make a quick video here on this full moon in Taurus. Also, I will be doing the full moon for each of the 12 signs tomorrow. That's on Sunday. And again, it's very important when you learn about where these full moons and new moons are, that you understand them in relation to your ascendant. Like for myself, I have Gemini ascendant, so it happens in my 12th house. If you're Scorpio, it's happening in your 7th house. If you're Capricorn, it's happening in your 5th house. So again, only $9.99 per month, and you can get the detailed full moon forecasts, new moon forecasts, a detailed overview of each month, and things like that as well. So anyway, those things are also there. But what I'm mostly focusing on here today is this full moon in Taurus. As you can see, it's in Mrigashira Nakshatra. It's happening at the very end. You see it'll be happening like at about 29 degrees of Taurus. Now, when things happen at the last degree, it also makes things sort of unreliable. It's changing signs, which it's sort of like when you're moving and you're already living in one house, but all your bags are packed and you're going to be moving into the next house, right? Like all your stuff is sort of half in one place, half in another. Well, that's also what happens when the planets change signs. When they change signs, they are, half in one, half and almost in the other, but they're not quite there yet. And so this is what's going on with this full moon, right? It's at the very end of Taurus, and then it goes into Gemini, like it's right on the cusp, right? So this, this is a very transitional time. So we're feeling that kind of shifting. This is why also the Nakshatra becomes very important. This Nakshatra of Mrigashira is where the energy of Taurus becomes the energy of Gemini. Excuse me, getting a little latency here. And so when this happens, it's, the symbol of the deer head, that symbol of the deer's head is a perfect symbol for this transition between between Taurus and Gemini, because a deer is an animal like a cow, which is the sign of Taurus, but it's also it's actually a fast and nimble four-legged creature. Like the sign of Gemini is a fast and nimble sign. So this nature of Mrigashira as the full moon nakshatra is also quite important. And it shows how we have this sort of transition period, as I said, between, excuse me, there's a window open here, this transition period between and the shifting of energy happening where we're exploring our environment and exploring, which is the true nature of Mrigashira. It's that aspect of Taurus that's exploring, explorational, not just settled, and it's in some ways sort of stuck, and anticipating the next thing. The god is Soma, which is the god of the immortal nectar. So there's this searching quality happening right now as well, which is, really quite important because there's a lot of energy that's kind of stuck. We have all these planets in these fixed signs right now. That includes, it includes um, the Sun and Mercury, which are in Scorpio. Of course, Jupiter is in Taurus. Saturn is in Aquarius. So there's a lot of this fixed energy right now. So things feel kind of stuck. In the midst of that, there's also these stationary, fixed energy planets, which means, Mars, we see all these big R's, all of these retrogrades, but a lot of them have been also what are called stationary retrograde, stationary direct, where this energy just feels kind of stuck. Things feel kind of sort of locked in place, almost sort of stuck and held in place. And in the midst of that, there's all these retrograde planets going as well. So things are both sort of stuck and fixed and kind of backwards. It's sort of a combination of, even the backward movement, which is an internal reflecting quality, feels a little bit stuck, right? So again, in the midst of that, I'm bringing this aspect of it out because Mrigashira is a very fluid energy, and that symbol of the deer head and the deer searching for the soma, for the immortal nectar, is a very rich and potent metaphor for this time, right? And again, soma is that nectar of immortality, but the way we really experience it is joy and beauty and love and connection. And, it's that bliss, the ananda. It's said that the nature of the soul is sat chit ananda, which is knowledge, existence, and bliss. It's not just that we are pure consciousness, but it's blissful. It's blissful. It's blissful consciousness, not just any old kind of consciousness. It's the bliss. It's blissful to be a being. At least it's supposed to be. Supposed to be blissful. And again, this is why we're always searching for bliss. We're always searching for bliss. I'm constantly always thinking, and when people get readings or when we're living our life, underneath it all, there's this longing to be happy. But what's the point of spiritual development if we're not happy? And it's very easy to get happiness, which is an emotion, mixed up with bliss, which is not an emotion. It's a state of being. And happiness, external happiness, is our way to try to connect with our bliss, which is not conditional. Your nature is bliss, not happiness, because happiness has an opposite. It's a roller coaster. The opposite of happy is sad. There is no opposite of bliss. It's your nature. Your nature is bliss, right? So this is very much connected to this nakshatra of bliss, blissfulness. And it doesn't necessarily come from some external emotional experience. So this is something very important to ponder, especially because Jupiter is also joined the moon. Now, again, we have all these retrograde planets here, this retrograde Jupiter, but also Mars is retrograde, and also Mercury retrograde. So the retrogrades are trying to connect us internally to that state of existence and consciousness, our true nature. The retrograde planets do it by interrupting our external pleasure cycle, so to speak. And so when that gets interrupted, we can more easily turn inward. And that's a very strong pull right now, this strong pull to go inward, with all of the retrograde planets. So, but in particular, the moon is joined this retrograde Jupiter. Jupiter is very big in the sky. So when we have the sunrise now and for the next couple days, especially here on this full moon, you'll see that Jupiter right next to it, big, bright Jupiter. And Jupiter's name is Guru. The Sanskrit name is Guru. And it means that this is a great time to really benefit from our guru's teachings or not benefit. So there's a lot of talk, especially in the West. We're very suspicious of gurus because, well, the guru is within. I'm my own guru. And you don't really need to look out. And by the way, in the ultimate sense, this is true. Ultimately, we don't need to look outward for the inner guru, but how many of us are looking inward? If you want to find that guru within, then you need to go within. You can't just say it as if that means it's happening. So this is typically what happens is people don't, we understand that, the guru is within, but then do we go within to find it? So this is why external gurus, and that doesn't mean someone that you worship. It just means even something like astrology or great teachings are here to connect us with our inner guru. And so right now you can really benefit. Now is a time where you are either going to benefit or not going to benefit from how much you're putting into your higher teachings. And that's really all it means. What it means is that whether you know it or not, and many times people don't know it, whether you know it or not, you are being taught something and teaching something and following some kind of teaching. Again, many people are like, well, I don't need a guru. I don't have a guru, blah, blah, blah. Yes, you do. We all have a guru, which means we are all following something. We all believe something. We're all believing in something, and it's giving our life some kind of purpose, some type of meaning. Whether you acknowledge it or not, it's true, because if you didn't, you'd kill yourself. Literally, suicide is really, more than anything, it's a failure of Jupiter. It's like, I have no more hope. I have no more answers. I have nothing to believe in anymore on this earth, so I'm just going to end it. So if you're believing in anything, if you're still alive, you're alive because you believe something. You believe in it, and it's giving you some direction. So that's all Jupiter is. That's all Guru is. It's just a matter of whether or not you're following good teachings or not, or where those teachings are leading you. So this is the thing to understand, is that right now, with this full moon, join Jupiter, this exalted full moon, because the moon is exalted in Taurus, where it's the most stable and solid. I didn't talk about it that much because it's actually in transition, and it's kind of far away from the exact degree. But right now, the quality of those teachings are very crucial in whatever's happening in your life. And if there's ever a time in your life where you can notice this, it's now. So it's not a judgment. Sometimes people think, oh, you're judging us. You're saying if we don't have a guru, it's bad. Or there's no judgment in any spiritual teachings, really. Even like I said, it doesn't mean that you should have a guru. No, you do have a guru. You have a guru. You follow teachings. You believe things. Maybe it's a lot of them, and maybe they're scattered, and you believe this. You believe it. You believe something about relationships, and you believe something about career, and you believe something about heaven and hell and religion. You believe all kinds of stuff, and they're taking you somewhere. You're following those beliefs, and now you're getting the result of those beliefs. Now is the time to really notice where those beliefs are taking you, as I said. And with all these retrograde planets, we're being compelled, in fact, with Jupiter is one of them, to be reflecting on our teachings, which is the retrograde Jupiter, reflecting on our battles and how are we showing up. Are we showing up to fight these battles, or are we, do we have the strength and discipline and courage to actually face ourselves and reflect, especially, and fight that inner battle? Mercury retrograde, are we really reflecting on the stories we're telling ourselves? Like I'm telling you stories right now. I'm communicating things. You're communicating things to yourself all the time as well. And again, you want to understand astrology when it works at best, it's not a judgment. It's not a judgment saying you should blah, blah, blah. No, you are doing these things. You do have a story running in your head. It's not that, astrology didn't make that up. You have a story running in your head about something. And particularly with the Mercury retrograde in Scorpio, we all have a kind of dark and scary version of the story. Oh my God, what happens when, where is my life, headed, and all these things that I can't control, and I'm vulnerable, and what does all that mean? This is the Mercury retrograde in Scorpio. And we have to reflect and say, is that really true? And blah, blah, blah. Mars retrograde in Cancer. We're very emotional about the battles and the battles that we've lost. Oh, and we're frustrated because we can't win certain battles. Okay, but all that's external. Do we have the courage to go internally? This is happening. How well you're doing it, I don't know, but that's what the thing means. Jupiter retrograde, we have teachings. We're believing things. We're following them. What's the result? So that's all the retrogrades are doing, is they compel us to actually have the courage to face those things. And now with this full moon here in Taurus, especially joined this Jupiter retrograde, and it's also opposite the Mercury retrograde, right? Because again, there's a lot I could be talking about. Jupiter, Mercury are aspecting and whatnot as well in the midst of this. So again, these two things, Jupiter and Mercury, are where we believe things, which is Jupiter, and then we question things, which is Mercury. So Mercury, Jupiter are always, one is questioning, one is believing. Well, I believe this, but what about this? Or whatever it might be. So those things are also really coming up in this cycle right now. And again, as I said, this full moon here in Taurus is happening, for example, like if you're a Pisces person, it happens in your 3rd house. If you're Leo, it's happening in your 10th house. So again, what I do, I have member site where for just $9.99, you can get a weekly forecast, but then you also get very detailed forecasts of the new moons and the full moons and of each calendar month. So again, if you want to know what this means for you, you can do that and just, again, click the join button under the video, and I'll be doing that video live tomorrow on December 15th. And also I do have this free 2025 Vedic astrology web class. 2025 is right around the corner. The 10 most important shifts that you must know. This is a free web class. I go into detail of all of these different shifts from 2025. And then I'm also now I'm finishing up detailed forecasts, focused assessments. If you want to understand how 2025 and these shifts are going to affect you personally, then you can also get that as well. But I wanted to just jump on here and make this quick but important full moon in Taurus video before the weekend got away from me, because I am actually finishing these all of these assessments. I've done a whole bunch of them, and I'm going to pump the brakes on them here in a bit so that I can get them all finished before 2025 starts. So anyway, I appreciate everyone here. And you have a great full moon in Taurus, and we'll talk soon. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel.